Hello everybody and welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay. I am TheOutbackAl.
I'm Yin&Jung.
I'm NV Jitters.
I'm CheerandCosplay.
And I'm Kozi.
And we're back with more things that are basically anime but aren't anime but could be anime at some point. Who knows? Teen Titans. Okay. We've all seen this, except for one person, right?
Except for Cece.
The
Cheers.
one person.
Who's the one person?
That would
Cece.
be me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The Disney kid. We've discussed this a couple times.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah. So,
I do want to know, like, a caveat to that. Al did sit us all down to watch the Teen Titans Go movie.
True.
I don't think that counts entirely, but yeah, I did do that. So, I guess the first question is, Cece, what was your first impression of all this?
It was cute. I liked it.
Well, that's a good thing.
Very succinct.
Short and sweet.
Do you remember the Teen Titans Go movie?
A little. I was pretty drunk at the time.
Yeah, that's the best
What
way
do
to
you
do
think
it.
about how it shifted?
Teen Titans Go is like a little too clean. Like in this one, they were a little like wonky at times. I think it gives them personality.
I will say this. I don't want to talk too much about Teen Titans Go, but Teen Titans Go, it's not even a parody. It's more like the writers poking shit at fans that wanted a revival of the original show. And 70 to 80% of the time, the jokes don't work. The movie is like the one exception. They got their best writing material for that movie. Otherwise, the other show is kind of shit. But anyway, let's talk about the good version.
So true.
I will disagree with you just a little bit. I agree most of it is shit, but sometimes they have a joke that just for some reason lands out of nowhere. I don't understand why. You remember the toaster thing?
He's not your typical dad.
I can relate. I mean, I am half robot after all.
Catch, Daddy, catch!
Yeah, but it is like at least 80% shit. I might say 90% shit, except the movie. All
Toaster
right,
joke is just
maybe
really
the
fucking funny
one
for some
joke.
reason.
But that's like 1 out of a million jokes that they try.
I know.
Anyhow.
So this one came out in 2003, which was coming out like around the same time as, honestly, like everything seems to be that we've been watching lately has been anywhere from 2003 to 2007. So right in the childhood, which
Good
is
year
real
for
nice.
cartoons.
Yeah,
I
honestly.
have a question. Was this American animated?
Yeah, it was Cartoon
Okay.
Network and Warner Brothers and all that stuff.
Because I remember sometimes they played the opening in Japanese.
They did.
Well, there was a
because-
reasoning for that. I looked it up. They whenever it was a serious storyline, they would play the American version. When it was a comedy-centric episode, they would play the Japanese version.
Yeah, and it was like,
Interesting.
I mean, it was a pretty very heavily anime influenced show. So they were like, we might as well like lean into it and just have a full on anime opening for the series. And yeah, it worked out. It's catchy.
I remember that as a kid being thrown off. It's like, wait a minute, this sounds different. Because back then I was just a naive kid. I didn't know what the Japanese language sounded like. I was like, why does the intro sound different this week?
You accidentally hit the button to put it on foreign languages. How dare you?
Clearly.
Follow-up question that we probably don't know the answer to. Did they have an instance of playing the Japanese opening before the movie in Japan?
Yeah.
Or the special in Japan?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like early. I'm trying to think. I don't think they did it for any of these ones that we watched.
Yeah, because the
but-
movie was the series finale
Yeah, because that came
for
after.
all intents and purposes.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think the one that it probably would have come up with, because I was looking at the episodes a little bit, the Mad Mod episode comes up in episode 6. That is definitely a comedy episode. So they probably would have used it there and maybe a couple other places along the way. Yeah, but for these
I was
ones...
not expecting it to be so heavy right out the gate.
Oh, yeah.
I was
No,
like,
it hits
"Whoa,
you.
That is dark.
Yeah.
Like, are we sure this is season 1, episode 1?
Yeah, no. I do remember a lot of this.
And that's pretty tame compared to what happens in later arcs in the show.
Oh,
Let's just
in
say
the-
there's a giant... let's just say the overarching villain for most of the series is... you ever hear of Deathstroke?
Slade from Teen Titans Go.
Yeah.
You watched the
Suicide Squad.
movie.
It's Deadpool.
Why does everybody think of Deadpool?
You got them guns. And the swords.
Yeah, well, lots of people have guns and swords, okay?
Nah, I'm pretty sure you're Deadpool. Look into the camera and say something inappropriate.
Yeah, he goes hard in this show. And then there's other villains in the show.
Deathstroke was in Suicide Squad.
That was Deadshot.
Oh, it was Deadshot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Deathstroke was at the end of Justice League in the post-credits scene.
Yeah, for like
We're
2
not gonna
seconds.
count that. He
Uh,
looked good. He looked good for
Right.
the thing, but we're not gonna
Yeah.
count that.
I will say this, though. I know we're going out of order, but I'm just fanboying here. Ron Perlman is the GOAT for me in terms of Deathstroke. Like, I haven't seen every version of the character, but he'll always be my favorite. Just his voice is just so satisfying.
I think anytime he's in animation, like nowadays, I've seen him with Ron Perlman. I think I forget the guy's name, but he was the dad in the show Dexter. He's played him a few times. They've had a couple different people do it, but yeah, Ron Perlman adds a lot of character here, but he's a veteran for DC stuff because he was like Clayface back during Batman the Animated Series as well. So these 3 episodes, we had Final Exam where we meet the Hive, which is going to be a recurring villain for them. They get their butts kicked. Robin dies, but doesn't die. And then, it's a decent intro. We kind of get 2 intro episodes a little bit. Because I feel like the first episode and the third episode both sort of have pilot energy a little bit.
Yeah. Especially the fight scenes in the third one. I feel like we're supposed to showcase all their powers and intro them.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I guess this has been a theme the last couple weeks or month. There is an episode later on in the show where they show them meeting up for the first time. So I guess my complaints from Art and Mystery is me eating my own shit because this show did it too.
Yeah, everything did it back then, man.
It's just like everybody knows these characters already. These are DC characters.
Yeah, like they already have pre-established lore.
Right.
Well,
Even
nobody's
if at
confused.
minimum you just know Robin.
Yeah.
Well, I told this to Al last week before we did this episode. This was my introduction to DC in general. Because as a kid, I'd never really read comic books. So Spider-Man, the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie, was my introduction to Marvel, and this was my introduction to DC. So
You never had anything Batman before that?
Nope.
Wow.
Yeah, I grew up watching Batman the Animated Series, so I came out the gate strong.
I saw some of those too when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like a couple episodes here and there. But like, I don't know, somehow knew of Batman regardless. Like, I don't know how to say, like...
I do think to some degree Batman is just one of those characters where you just know who that is.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
you don't have to see Star Wars to know who Darth Vader is.
That's
right.
fair.
You just see like
It's-
bits and pieces here and there for whatever reason.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
so homogenized into pop culture that it's
Right.
like, because he's been around for like, what is it, 1939?
Same with Robin. I always knew
Very
who
long
Robin
time.
was for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, because they're Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
So yeah, I when this first came out, because I did watch this when it was like first airing, I did not know these other characters, but I very quickly learned to like them a whole lot because I feel like this was one of those shows that kind of similar to Justice League, which had started a few years before them. They have a team, and even Justice League, which had a bigger team, they would usually they knew when to do a team episode and when to do a focus up on like one character kind of episode. We saw that with the Starfire in the second episode where her sister shows up, and then the other two I'm going to say were a little bit more team. There's a bit they focus a little bit on Robin in the third episode, but I do like that. At least to me, they had a lot of character interaction, and it felt like. At least it felt like a kind of like a lived-in world a little bit. Like these guys weren't just meeting; they have some pre-established relationships. We don't know a ton about them yet, but I think this is a really good intro for a lot of what they have.
When was Justice League?
2001. Yeah, 2001.
Yeah.
That was
It
the
came
first
out,
2
and
seasons.
then like I guess the third season was counted as its own separate show, even though it wasn't Justice League Unlimited.
It was retitled Unlimited, but it was a direct continuation. And it was mostly because they were expanding the cast and the roster, and they were changing up the format a little bit to do some new stories. So they had technically like 3 seasons of that. So I think they ended like 2005, I think. 2004, 2005.
I think we got Young Justice before Teen Titans, too.
No, Young Justice came out in like
Definitely not.
2012.
I was new.
It was like 10 years after this show came out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember when Young Justice came out. It was because it came out on Cartoon Network on Friday nights, and I remember seeing previews of it.
Yeah, they had. I do remember, like, seeing commercials for that. I'm like, oh, so they're rebooting Teen Titans, but, like, I guess not as fun?
I feel like I saw Miss Martian way before that, or Martian Girl. I don't remember what.
It's Miss
she
Martian,
was.
but yeah.
I think the Young Justice ones were the same, like the same studio and like same general vibe as a lot of those Batman ones, like Red Hood and.
The animated movies that were coming out?
Yeah, and all the Damian era movies, you know.
Those came out, I think, just a little bit after that, but you're right, yeah.
I felt like it's a similar type of movie, you know.
I think you're right, because that's when they were really splitting off and making the whole Warner Brothers animation like a
DC
larger
Universe,
thing. Yes.
yeah, all of
And
the cartoon movies.
because Bruce Timm at that point was head of animation for them, and he'd already wrapped up his whole Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Static Shock, Justice League, all that.
Yeah.
Go back and watch any of those. Any of them are good. Zeta Project's a little on the fence.
I feel like those were the era before, and then there's the era around like Young Justice and all those other ones that I just mentioned. You know?
Yeah, and I think he was kind of, at least talking in regard to Bruce Timm, he was kind of like, I'm going to be the producer now, and now we're going to have other people come in and be like the directors and the writers and do the creating side a little bit more, and I'm just going to help you out with it.
Yeah.
So you had more people coming up and doing some stuff like that. But yeah, it was a bit of a transition period.
Do you remember Batman Ninja?
Yeah, no, we watched that
was
together.
Wild.
The dub is insane. Oh, Deathstroke's in that too. Who was Deathstroke in that? I forget.
I don't know. It was just a
really
weird movie. Was that an anime or was it American?
I think they did it, like, make it in Japan. So technically it's an anime.
Yeah, it's actually on Mal.
Oh, it is?
It's a trip.
It's so weird.
Fucking Damien being fucking...
This monkey thing.
Yeah, and...
Listen, Damien is so much fun, though.
He
can be. It depends on who's writing him, to be
but
honest.
Whoever wrote Batman Ninja Damien had never read anything about Damien.
Know anything about Damien at all.
They made him the most basic kid Burt Ward Robin.
He was so happy.
Yeah. It was weird.
Yeah, that is definitely not. That's definitely not Damien. That's
nothing beats Buster as Joker, though.
Oh my god!
If anyone's watched Arrested Development, the youngest brother Buster, he plays the Joker.
It's so weird.
Yeah,
That's weird. That's so weird.
I feel like I want to rewatch it.
We probably should.
I have the vaguest memory of watching a DC cartoon, but it would have been pre-98.
Pre-98, that was in the Bruce Timm era with Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series. Batman Beyond came out in 99. I do remember that. Any of those ring a bell?
Batman Beyond was a shitty teenager in the future who took over for Grandpa Bruce Wayne.
Hey now, he wasn't that shitty.
Okay,
I wouldn't go shit.
He really grew on you.
No,
Everybody
I don't
loves
think
Terry.
he ever did, at least for me.
Okay, you hate Terry. That's fine. Anyway, we should probably talk about the show a little bit more.
Yeah, maybe
this
just
one.
like a general overview of the episodes.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty straightforward. So they're kind of just villain of the week a little bit, especially for this starting section. We are getting a little bit of the larger villain kind of scene in the background with Slade, which I'd just like to point out is a small detail, but I still think the third episode should have been the first, because they show Slade and they show he's the evil mastermind, but they never even say his name. And it's not till the final exam, which is technically the first episode, where they say, Slade, who is Slade? Who is it? Like, they had to end it on that episode. That's your setup for the villain, which is then after
what was the third episode?
Intro. The third episode was Divide and Conquer, where Cyborg leaves. That's what I'm saying should have been the first.
Right.
The second one, intros Blackfire. I feel like each character kind of got their own villain a little bit throughout the series. Blackfire.
Yeah, they did. But going back to your point, I think it would have been weird for them to have a pilot, at the time, a pilot episode, and have one of your characters of your team leave right out of the gate in episode 1. So maybe that's why.
It is probably why
did it.
they did
Oh, Robin was dead.
That's true too. It's kind of, they have a bit of mirrors to each other in a way. Either way, they got pilot energy. But yeah, so one is dealing with the team and learning to get along, things like that. Another one is working as a team to defeat another team. And another one is having self-worth even when you're around someone who makes you feel inferior. So like this show honestly gave kids life lessons, I feel like. But that's just me. along with fun antics and actions.
I mean, yeah, the next episode was the one with the Weather Brothers.
Yeah.
We watched 4 or 5
man,
episodes.
that takes me back.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I watched every single episode, but I know I watched the vast majority of the show. And, like, I don't want to spoil anything for Cece, but let's just say some of my favorite arcs are X and Trigon. That's all I'm going to say.
I just wanted to go until we saw Wormy, but I guess Wormy's a lot further in than I thought it was.
Wormy is. Because Wormy doesn't really show back up until, I think, 3. Because they did... I don't think they did... actually, I'm trying to take a look here. Yeah, they didn't do the setup for Killer Moth until season 2. And then the rest of that season kind of was a little bit revolving around one of the more famous comic book lines. So...
Yep, the Judas Contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, I didn't see the movie. They came out a couple years ago, so I can't really compare it. But I will say the show, I like the arc they did with Tara. They kind of left it ambivalent with at the time, the season 5 finale, thinking that they would get a season 6, and then that didn't fall through.
Yeah.
The Terra arc in this one is so good.
Yeah, I mean, they had to do that one well because that's the most famous arc from this version of the Titans, which, I mean, I'm going to bring you in here because you know a little bit more about their comic history than I do, but this was the Marv Wolfman era with the new Teen Titans, technically. This is not the original team.
Right. This is the new Teen Titans from the 80s. But they kicked out, like, certain people, like Wonder Girl was in the new Teen Titans comics, and... one or two others. Wasn't there a...
Kid Flash?
Kid Flash was in it.
Jericho. These people do
Jericho
eventually show
came in
up.
later, though.
Oh,
Jericho came in later.
And they formed like a West Coast Teen Titans too, or East Coast, one of the two. So they kind of
Titans East.
have Titans East.
This specific iteration of the Titans as a group isn't one you really see in any of the other media.
Yeah, do you mean like the animation media? Because like this is heavy on comics, but yeah, I think they probably did it so well that they were like, yeah, let's not try to recreate this again because it went too well the first time, and we're just going to get called for copying it.
Well, they did in Titans the live action, and we saw how well that went. So.
But I think they were trying to get anyone to watch
So
it.
it makes you wonder, though, like you said earlier, everybody knew who Robin was, but like, if you weren't a major comic nerd, how familiar were you probably to the other 4 members, like Starfire, Beast Boy, Cyborg, and Raven? Like,
probably not. Yeah.
I think Starfire was very specific to Teen Titans, so...
If I'm not
You
mistaken...
So was Raven
and
Cyborg. They all premiered in Teen Titans.
Beast Boy started in Doom Patrol, right?
Yeah.
Or
Beast Boy started in Doom Patrol.
So yeah. Yeah.
But the other 3 were definitely Teen Titans specific. That was where they premiered.
At the very least in the comics, the team did exist before that because they were basically just the sidekicks. I think it was Kid Flash, Aqualad, Robin, and Speedy originally.
Yeah, exactly.
Which they then kind of use as a jumping point for the Young Justice show, more or less.
Well, Young Justice was its own team in the comics, though.
I know, but it did kind of... That first episode did kind of feel like they were melding the two a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Like, they messed with, like, a lot of the team stuff in Young Justice. Like, they changed a lot. Like, Tim was the leader of Young Justice.
Yeah.
In the comics, not Dick.
But everyone likes a good dick.
I don't know. I think Tim Drake is my second favorite Robin.
I love Tim. I think he's great.
Dick had already shifted into Nightwing, I think.
Yeah, he had. By the time Tim was around.
And then of course, there's Jason.
Yeah. He's good as Red Hood, though.
Yeah, Jason got better when he died.
He got much better when he died.
I do want to point out, I'm looking at like some of the writers. Marv Wolfman did work on some of these episodes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And I guess we should also talk about I guess I'm a big voice actor, a proponent or a supporter. I guess it's the better word. And obviously the cast of the show is iconic. I mean, they're not, besides Tara Strong, they're not incredibly household names, but they all do a great job.
Would you like Greg Sipes?
Well, okay, I didn't know much about him before Teen Titans. Let's put it that way.
I feel like to some degree,
Who did Mumbo?
Mumbo was Tom Kenny.
I clocked that immediately.
Cece looked up at me, and they're like, Is that Tom Kenny? I'm like, I don't know who the fuck that is.
It's SpongeBob.
SpongeBob.
It's Ice King.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, he was definitely doing Ice King for Mumbo, but
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
he has a little more gravel with Ice King, I guess. But
And I just looked it up now. Apparently Tara was Ashley Johnson from Critical Role in The Last of Us. I did not know that until this moment.
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Cece, how far did you guys watch this week? Because I'm trying to see, like, because I feel like we normally keep it to just the first 3 episodes and that as far as like talking about things, but at the same time, it's like
I think
this
we
has
did
been out
6.
for a while.
I don't think it was 6.
I think it was.
It was like 4 or 5.
No, because we did the Weather Brothers. We
Yeah.
did.
Then it would have been Cyborg
Fix
getting
It.
kidnapped.
Yeah. Okay, we did watch that.
And then the one inside Raven's Head.
No, we did
No.
not see that. Okay.
Okay, then yeah, you only saw 5.
Right. Mumbo and Cyborg getting kidnapped is the same thing.
Yeah, he was fun. He gets his own full episode at some point, which is pretty good. There's a couple. I do like that they had a number of recurring villains that actually felt like they had a lot of personality to them, even if they were like sometimes they're like nothing but jokes. Like Dr. Light is. I have a lot of fun with him in this show because he is really pathetic, but he gets
you
better.
kind
over
of have
time.
to be stalked by teenagers.
I mean, but not the rest of them aren't. As,
I mean, with the exception of Robin, they're all superpowered teenagers.
Robin is a little OP in these first couple episodes. I'm
He just has
realizing.
gadgets.
I mean, it's the Batman thing. It's like, why is Batman considered one of the founding members and one of the, premier leaders of the Justice League when he has no powers? It's because he knows
Capitalism.
what he's doing. Well, okay, yes,
Capitalism.
besides but his years of training and his years of intelligence and stuff like that.
At the same time, I'd like to point out that Justice League was coming out at the same time as this. Batman was there for a number of episodes, but at no point did I ever think to myself, yeah, he's on the same power level. Robin is clearly on the same power level as these other people when he's fighting these guys.
Oh, that was also a thing that happened in Batman Beyond, right? They referenced Robin going to the Teen Titans. Or was
No,
it
they-
static?
Well,
No.
the funny thing is that I don't think Teen Titan was ever considered part of the DC animated
It's
universe.
not.
No,
It's not
no.
canon to it. A lot of people did want that. There is a small crossover, pseudo crossover, but it's more of just a reference for people in the know. Dick did leave in the new Batman adventures because him and Bruce had a falling out, and he leaves for Bloodhaven and then becomes Nightwing.
Yeah.
But he does come back,
Which they
and
do reference
Tim's
in
there.
Teen Titans.
Right?
Yeah, they make a couple Batman references, but nothing that's ever you're not gonna see Batman here.
No. I'm saying there was a Batman thing that referenced Robin having left.
Yeah, because he leaves.
That's what he always does in every timeline.
Yeah, it's just, depending on what timeline it is, how is he leaving? Is he leaving on bad terms or on decent terms?
I just found it so funny that in this one they never say their real names. So like they never say Dick or Corey or
Garfield.
anything. Gar, yeah.
Well,
it's just like-
they did one time, and I won't spoil the whole joke, but they do mention Garfield in season 5.
Yeah, I bet he
that
hates
was one of the
Mondays.
best jokes.
Raven
yeah.
is her real name, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
Raven. But everybody else, has real names.
And they kind of really don't have secret identities. They, walk around all the time. Well, I guess
Super
Cyborg's a bit different, but like Raven, Beast Boy, Starfire, and Robin, they always
also-
walk around in their uniforms. Like they never take them off.
Nope.
Starfire and Blackfire are supposed to be like the literal translations of the Tamaranian.
Yeah. I believe so.
What?
Starfire and Blackfire are they're English translations of their actual names, right?
Well, hers is Coriander.
Which means, does that mean Starfire?
Did it mean
Yes.
Starfire?
Yes, it means Starfire.
I wouldn't be
But
surprised.
it's in the same vein as if we would call Sakura from Naruto Cherry Blossom instead.
a little
I'll
weird,
have to
but-
check. I'm not sure.
To be fair, Cherry Blossom is not a good superhero name. So,
No.
I
Yin,
disagree.
I had to check this because I wanted
Oh,
to tell.
did you already fact
Yeah,
check
I wanted
It
to check
doxed
what
me.
Blackfire's name was.
it's Commander, right?
Yeah.
Commander. And they
Yeah.
have a brother in one specific universe called Ryander.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
Ryander. I'm not sure how it's pronounced.
It means Ryan Fire.
What if?
I don't know. Yeah. Blackfire comes back, I want to say, one other time majorly.
They go
Yes,
to
there
Tamaran,
was.
don't they?
They do, and
Yep.
that's the episode. But like at the same time,
Starfire gets
uh,
not betrothed, but like she's
yeah,
in
she's
an
betrothed.
arranged marriage.
It's arranged marriage that her sister sets up. But like, I feel like it's a bit of a shame that she didn't get to come back a little bit more often, because we have Slade causing issues for Robin on multiple occasions and in multiple different ways. Same thing with like Tara. You have Brother Blood coming back a number of times and being the enemy for Cyborg. Trigon is this whole thing for Raven. Starfire,
One of the best arcs in the whole show.
yeah, but Starfire, I feel like did get, and like even Beast Boy at the end. I mean, he gets part of the Terra thing, but he also gets to be part of like the Doom Patrol element of the season 5.
I feel like that was only like not many episodes.
On Wikipedia,
Yeah, but still.
I'm looking this up on Wikipedia.
It's something for him.
On Wikipedia, every season has a different character that's the central theme, and Starfire is the only one that didn't have one.
And I think
she had specific episodes, but she never had a specific season.
Yeah, and I think that the part of the problem is that she didn't have like a longer recurring villain, and that could have been Blackfire maybe, but or something related.
If you look into what Starfire's actual history and like her
it's a little
is,
heavy for children. I know, but at the same time, you could have looked into some kind of way of.
Yin, did you just say I guess?
I was being sarcastic, but yeah.
I think you could have looked into something, and it could have been nice to have a few more cosmic episodes. Could have been interesting.
Yeah, I think like they had like whole art, like when they went to Tamaran in the comics, it was for a while, you know.
It was for one episode here,
right? But I feel like they had a whole arc there that they could have like branched off of, you know.
They would have had to establish a whole war, though.
Little bit.
Yeah, I guess they like I don't remember, but they didn't touch on any of that in the show, did they? Like
Starfire's backstory thing.
She wasn't enslaved or anything.
In the flashback episode, they mentioned that she ran away from being arrested in prison, and that there was people after her. Her, I guess, the Tamaranians or whatever they're called, and
no, it was someone else. It was a different group that Blackfire pissed
well, that's
off.
how the 5 of them met and then formed the team.
Oh, but nothing about Starfire's history?
No, that was pretty much it. That's what I'm saying. She probably could have gotten more stuff that was maybe a little bit more for her. Would have been
really
nice.
dark, though.
I'm not saying you had to do it one for one. I'm just saying you could have included some elements. And we could have
look
had
how dark Trigon's episodes got.
Yeah, those went to some dark places.
I feel like there are lots of children.
By her family and sexually abused for like 4 years.
Okay, yeah, you cut that second part. Definitely.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah.
But we've already established Blackfire is an asshole, and you've clearly established that she's willing to throw her sister under the bus. I feel like you could easily have some sort of prison storyline.
I feel like, you could have kept that with Starfire and her escaping from the planet and coming to Earth that way.
Or Gladiator World or something. Some shit like that.
Cuts away from like her history of how she actually gained her powers.
Little bit.
Because the Starbolts aren't actually native to Tamaran.
I feel like it does get a little complicated. They got that by
being experimented on.
It does get a little complicated there, but if you do go far enough into backstory, you could have the time to do that. I'm trying to think whether any other Tamaranian other than them in that episode fired Starbolts. And I don't think they did.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So, you could have done that, maybe. But didn't. There's 1 or 2 episodes I know that they're in space. There's one with the racist dude, and there's one where everybody's lost on a planet and split up. And then there's Tamaran. I don't think they did anything else with space. I think they maybe needed a few more space episodes for Starfire.
The episode where they're trapped in that virtual reality game and they have to do like this death competition against each other. Like, was that on Earth or is that on Earth?
Wasn't virtual reality, wasn't on Earth. Starfire was not included.
I feel like maybe if they had gotten that other season, maybe they were planning on giving it to Starfire then.
Maybe. That could have been nice.
Like, I hope so, because
the only like really big Starfire moment we got was where she got flung into the future.
Well, there was that. She has a couple episodes. There's the one where she's going through metamorphosis. There's well, like I mentioned, the racist alien episode. There's one with the Soviet radiation guy. It's more of just you get an episode for her as opposed to you're going to get an arc.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And that's kind of the only thing that I'm kind of like, I could have given her an arc.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure she was popular enough.
Right, exactly.
I mean, this is the early 2000s, and she was a Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
Not really. I
Okay,
would
come on.
not
She's
consider
got
her a Manic Pixie Dream
whether or
Girl.
not she's the disappear at the end kind of thing, she's definitely very manic, and she's got a bit of pixie, and she's.
But she doesn't serve that
And she
purpose
has
in the
pink
story.
hair.
She is
I
not.
know, but she's coded.
Here's
No.
the thing too. You would think that Starfire would be the ultimate, bombshell from the show, but the amount of people I've seen over the years that go crazy for Raven and go crazy, you see her you see at least
It's the
one
goth
Raven
girl
at every
thing.
at every convention.
Goth Rebel Dream Girl that replaced the Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
Yeah.
Nah, dude, you're wrong about Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
They definitely fell out of fashion.
Nobody
Starfire's
else
the one.
answered this.
Anyway.
Hey, Cece, how do you think Starfire learned English?
And why do you think Blackfire is so much better at it?
I do have a very surface level, unimportant
Go ahead.
question. Why is Blackfire's eyes white? Why does she also have green eyes?
Because she's monochromatic.
Oh, there is an actual answer for this.
Is there?
Yes. Blackfire was born without the ability to absorb ultraviolet like the rest of the Tamarins.
She has a vitamin D deficiency.
Yeah, so before she
She's a
underwent
vampire.
the experiments, she had no powers at all. So, lack of radiation.
But yeah, Cece, take a guess. How do you think the Tamaranians learn English?
Reading a dictionary.
Wrong.
You gotta know English to read a dictionary. They make out with people
is
and
like-
suck the language
yeah.
out of their brain.
Literally.
Their tongue is a babblefish.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's convenient.
It comes up when they go to Japan.
Yeah, Robin gets super jealous.
I bet.
By the way, can you guess why Robin really likes Starfire?
Did she learn English from him?
Yes, she did. You get a gold star.
Does that make Robin stupid then?
I think it
No.
has to
That's
for
saying.
how broken her English is.
I
why
think
did she talk like that?
It's charming, okay? I come at me.
it's a character thing that they just wanted to do for the show to make her a little more unique.
Like,
It's
she
not.
does not speak that way in the comics, like, at all.
Yeah, like she doesn't get like slang and euphemisms in the comics, but
she
that's
just
about
talks,
it.
Yeah, she just talks, like, overly proper.
I feel like maybe, and this might also be the reason maybe they didn't give her an arc. Maybe the writers didn't know as much what to do with her, so they had to give her a gimmick.
I don't know,
It
maybe.
feels really bad, but
But that's unfortunate, because she's one of my favorite Titans. I think she's one of the best.
yeah, that's essentially the joke. I think amongst fans is that Starfire kissed one dude once, so she knows the basics of English. Blackfire, as soon as she got to Earth, she started making out with everybody, so she's really good at it.
I guess you could say that.
Yeah.
So
We'll
Does
go
it
with that.
have to be someone of the opposite gender?
I have no idea.
I doubt
but, you're
it.
giving me plenty of images in my head that I'm happy about.
I don't see why.
They're teenagers.
Yeah.
Well, not in the comics.
Yeah. Starfire
grow
could have
up.
met Raven first.
Yeah, I'm just thinking if she got Raven first, Raven has like multiple languages. What one would she have absorbed?
But, like, Dick
All of
knows
them.
multiple languages, too.
Yeah, no, you
He
train
probably
with
knows, like, 10 or more.
you train with Batman, you're gonna just pick shit up.
He's too stupid here.
He's too stupid here.
Yeah.
It's that circus boy in him.
I will say, I did watch one of the new DC animated movies, I ironically called Justice League versus the Teen Titans, and in that movie, they didn't give, Starfire her same speech pattern, but they definitely made her, I guess, clueless to a lot of Earth customs or sayings, so they kind of kept the same spirit of the character. They just made her, a
Did she
full-blown
get
adult.
euphemisms in the
She's kind
comic?
of she's kind of always, like, clueless to certain things. She's definitely a fish out of water, but, like,
Yeah.
much less so than in this.
And don't even get started on Teen Titans Go. They were like, we're going to take this one thing and just make it
Just
her whole
roll
thing.
with it, yeah.
Like, I don't know if
Yeah,
they
that is
went
true.
over this with the Blackfire episode, but she is a princess.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why
they did.
she's the one who's getting betrothed. It's like it's a political
No,
marriage.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
first Blackfire episode.
Oh, no,
Oh,
not
they
even
didn't
remotely.
talk about it. No.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a surprise for everybody when they go to the planet. Like, what?
Yeah, she's royalty.
Now they're the fish out of water.
One of my
Right.
favorite jokes in the whole series was when they're flying in the ship to the planet, and Robin's like, "You're getting married to somebody you've never met," while he's out in space, and he realized, "Oh shit, gravity or no oxygen."
It's a void.
So, actually, what if Starfire talks all proper? Not because she doesn't understand slang or anything, but because she's a fucking princess.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Maybe.
she's like,
Absolutely a
okay,
possibility.
so this is how the plebeians talk. I'm not going to talk like
You
a
say-
peasant.
You say that, Kozi, and I understand your argument, but she's also the one that is the most disgusting when it comes to food. Like, she'll drink mustard, she'll eat burnt ass pancakes. Like, she does not have a royalty refined palate.
That is simply a cultural thing, you racist. But the Tamarian palate is quite unique.
I mean, the Tamaranians are actually just like glorified plant people.
Yeah, basically.
They
Cat
sustain themselves off of
They were
ultraviolet
also
light.
cat people.
Yeah, they're half plant, half cat.
half plant, half cat.
So maybe there's some Kryptonian plant person in there too. I don't know. Kryptonians are plants, right?
I don't know.
It doesn't make sense. They can subsist entirely off of sunlight.
What are they?
Oh,
You're gonna get into
never
this?
thought about that.
You never
I
thought
guess
about
they're
that?
aliens.
No, I've never thought of Superman as a plant person.
I guess maybe all aliens are plant people. I don't know.
I mean,
All the
Piccolo's kind of a plant
human-looking
person,
ones
or
are.
a slug. Probably a slug. Though that's an entirely different canon.
Yeah.
I gotta go there because I didn't know what this was as a kid, but it was one of my favorite ships as a kid, Robin and Starfire. Like, that was
Yeah.
one of my top 5 favorite ships growing up as a kid. Like, that was, again, I didn't know what shipping was. I just know I did it with a
Like-
bunch of cartoon couples, and yeah.
I would say, like, in all DC comics, Dick and Starfire is still one of my favorite, like, ships. Like, in the comics,
So-
I like them even more.
So do you like him and Starfire more, or him and Barbara more?
Oh, him and Starfire by far.
Redheads, man.
Yeah, I don't even think Barbara's the one where the comics shifted a lot of their attention to now. It's him and
Well,
Wonder
no,
Girl, isn't
actually-
it?
No, he's definitely paired more with Barbara nowadays. They kind of forgot about his relationship with Starfire for some reason.
I think it's
But
'cause-
his original, like, love interest was Starfire, like, his main love interest.
There is a comic series where they have a child together.
Yeah, they do. They do in a lot of alternate universes, actually.
That child ends
It's a
up
canon
with
event.
Damien, which was weird.
Yeah. It was kind of weird.
Hmm.
But yeah, I really like Dick and Starfire. They shifted towards Barbara and Dick, which was never a thing before, like, the 90s. But now it's, like, always constantly there. And I'm not crazy
And-
about it, to be honest.
And one thing that always conflicted me as a kid was that, again, I'm not taking prior comic knowledge or future comic knowledge. I'm speaking specifically for this show. I liked Beast Boy and Terra as a couple, even though it was tragic. But at the same time, I also shipped him and Raven together too. So it was like, I was so
Yeah.
conflicted. Like, which one do I like more?
Right.
Neither one of those ships are really a thing in the comics, though, I don't think.
Nowadays, Raven and Beast Boy is a lot of the time, but definitely not in the past.
Might have been a result
Yeah,
of this.
Raven and Damien were, like, pretty big.
When they de-aged her.
Yeah, when they
Yeah.
de-aged her, it was a popular ship. I don't think it ever actually happened, though, except in that one movie, maybe. Remember that movie where they kind of seemed to have a thing? I don't know.
Well, in
I
the
think they did have
new
a thing in the
DC
sequel to it.
in the new
Yeah.
DC movies, they do have a romance. Like before they rebooted it again, they did kind of sort of get together.
That's like such a no for me. I don't know why, but it makes me feel weird.
Is
I
it-
think because
Well,
Raven
It's
was
like
with,
she should
like...
be older.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
that's-
hate that
yeah.
she's de-aged.
They're both young teenagers in that universe.
But it makes
And
no
yet
sense.
we know we know that for a that in most canons at this point she would be 40.
Right. It's just like she's supposed to be Dick's age and was always on that team, so it never makes sense to me when she's like Damien's age. I don't know why they do that.
Yes. Dick and Corey, the 40-year-olds leading the Teen Titans.
Yeah, they're not 40, but
They
still.
got big mom and dad energy.
They're in their early 20s.
Or they write them with it. I don't know. Does and you could probably answer this more than me, but like, does Dick always take on the role of Batman when Batman's not around? Usually.
Not
do you mean
always.
role like the mantle, or do you mean like a leader?
I mean, just like, does he get more Batman tendencies when?
Batman's not around, he becomes broody, and then when Batman's there, he becomes like happy-go-lucky.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a comic storyline where he actually becomes Batman? Like he dresses up as Batman, he takes over as Batman for a short period of time.
He does have to take up the mantle a few times.
Yeah. That was mostly Grant Morrison's Batman.
Yeah, he's happy-go-lucky Batman with brooding Robin.
It's great, actually. I love how it flips around.
No, that's fun.
That just sounds like a crush, honestly.
Because after, like, you would probably know this, but like after Bane broke Batman's back at Nightfall, did he become Batman?
There was a lot of people doing it.
Yeah.
Azrael, as it came
Didn't
out
they
of
like
too.
fight for the cowl? It was like battle for the cowl or whatever. Did that come right after Nightfall?
I think
I'm asking you. You're the comics person.
Azrael was a thing. I know Cassandra Cain came out in No Man's Land, which was a few years after.
Yeah, I think everybody was like kind of going and fighting for the mantle around that time. So like almost everyone had a shot at being like Batman on and off for a while. But the story arc where Dick was Batman for the longest period was when he was with Damien.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about Cassandra. And it just brought back all of the newer DC movies where fucking Catwoman's like getting the whole fucking Bat family.
Yeah, I don't feel like talking about.
Oh, you're talking about Suicide Squad. No, it wasn't Suicide Squad. What was it? Harley Quinn.
You're thinking of Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey!
Immaculate Emancipation of Harley Quinn. We don't need to talk about that because that's going to take too fucking long. I really don't want to get into how they've been fucking some of these storylines that I really enjoy in some of these animated movies lately. Please, let's not do that. Can I talk about
Damien?
I don't. But can I talk about the one reason I'm a Dick Starfire shipper? That one comic panel. I need
Dick! Perfect.
That's so good. Anyway, we should talk about this show, though. Specifically.
I think we have been.
We have. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that we should cover here. Any other villains or characters that showed up that were really interesting? Any, like, individual highlights? I know we talked about a lot of the major arcs, but I'm trying to think of, like, individual episodes that really, like, were... I'm goofy as fuck. I love the Mad Mod episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Was that
They're
one of the guy who
so
has
silly.
the power to, like, overwrite stuff?
Control Freak?
That one!
Where they go into the TV and Beast Boy is the most powerful member because he watches too much TV.
Yeah.
They had some really fun ones.
It wasn't the whole episode, but one of my favorite sequences in the show was the one episode where it began with Robin getting his ass kicked. So he goes off to train, and then everyone's so depressed that they literally dress up as Robin and pretend to be Robin. And then the payoff to that joke is one of my favorite in the whole show.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
The one where Mumbo sucks them into his hat and they all are animals in an alternate universe where everyone is Mumbo.
Yep.
I don't know what it was about the trippy weirdo episodes. I love those. You could kind of throw Larry in there a little bit. You guys remember the fifth dimensional Mr. Mixie Spitlick character?
Oh, Larry. I'll be honest. As a kid, I did not like Larry.
I at least like the chaos that he set up. Even if he himself was very annoying. Like Batmite.
Oh.
Yeah. The prom episode with Killer Moth, that was also a highlight one for me.
I fucking love Wormy so much.
The Teen Titans will surrender, and Robin, yes, will take this lovely young lady to her junior prom. and then when Raven, Cyborg, and Beast Boy are fighting the Moths, and they're asking, like, so what are you going to do? Aren't you going to help us? I can't. I have a date.
So dejected.
I mean, I would be too.
Trying to look down at any of these last ones. I don't know. All in all, pretty good show.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cece, you think you're gonna...
It was one of my favorites on Cartoon Network growing up, and yeah, it still holds up after all these years, 20 years.
I should mention the pseudo crossover that they had with Justice League, because there were a lot of people who were like, "Oh, should Teen Titans be part of Justice League?" Part of the reason that they didn't do that was always an issue of like character rights, and Warner Brothers didn't want to have too many of one version of a character in too many shows at the same time, because they felt like it would confuse children to be like, well, how is this Robin doing this, but then this Robin's not doing that and looks different and blah, blah, blah. And I don't know. They did not think kids were very smart. So to
be fair,
it was late 2000. So this is just the story of it. In late 2002, or maybe it was 2003, near the end of the second season of Justice League, right before their big season finale, which was a very, very big season finale, they had the final appearance of the Joker in what's essentially called the Bruce Timm verse, and it was Mark Hamill's Joker. They had him take over Las Vegas with his newly formed Royal Flush Gang, and the Royal Flush Gang is all voiced by the Teen Titans, and that's essentially your crossover bit. And the reason it was the last time they ever did that was because I think it was 2004, they were premiering The Batman, the glorified toy commercial on Kids WB, and they were like, well, you can keep Batman in Justice League, but Alfred and Robin and all of his villains, they're going to be in this show now, so you can't use any of them moving forward. Which is like, you're gonna... Nothing against Kevin Michael Richards, but he is not as good of a Joker as Mark Hamill was.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, he's the GOAT, but yeah.
Honestly,
that was a good movie too. But that was a fantastic movie too. Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker, like that was great.
Yeah, he was supposed to be like. I think the problem was the Batman was still running. Otherwise, Joker would have shown up at the end of Justice League Unlimited for their big final fight. That was at the end of it. But no luck.
You know, going back to what you said, it's like, okay, so they had the Batman airing, and then they had Justice League, so that's two different Batmans right there. So, like,
yeah,
why would they?
Yeah, but the Justice League didn't take place in Gotham, and Batman wasn't always there.
Honestly, I think maybe that season was the last time they showed Gotham for that show. I think they did show Bloodhaven, which was not mentioned in the Batman, I don't think. But that you have a little more leeway with that since it goes into other comics.
I guess.
I don't know. Studios be weird.
True.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Nowadays, now DC is going to have the DCU while also having a separate universe for the Robert Pattinson Batman, while also having a separate universe for the Joker movies. So it's like...
I don't care. Just make a good movie and I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Cece.
Blue Beetle was okay, wasn't it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Good.
Decent origin movie, you know. Had fun. Little bit of weird thing. One scene. And I think it's just more has to do with just people trying to push like forced romances in movies.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember it?
I don't know. I feel like the romance was fine.
Not well.
I don't remember what you're referring to be honest.
So they go to the love interest. She's the daughter of the second Blue Beetle and blah, blah, blah. And she's going to be Jaime's love interest. And they're like, hey, so we're going to go hide out at my dad's old mansion. Oh,
you mean because it was too early?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were like at the place where her...
Hey, we're in my parents' old bedroom. My mom's dead. My dad's been missing for years. It's very, weird. Like, emotional for me, and I'm feeling very bad. Also, you're wearing my dad's old leisure suit. Why is this the moment that we're going to make out in the movie? This is not the time.
Yeah.
I don't know who thought it was the time.
The leisure suit did it.
It's like, I was conceived on this bed. Let's make it happen
again. So romantic.
Well, I need to invest in leisure suits, I guess. So, Cece, this was your first time watching this, possibly. Are you thinking you might watch more of this?
Yeah, I think so. I enjoyed it.
At the very least, she's got to see until Wormy.
Oh, that's true.
I will not
Wormy's halfway through the series. You might as well finish it at that point.
Yeah.
Might as well.
I'm absolutely a yay here still. I think this actually held up a lot better than I was thinking. I was a little bit worried of like some of the other shows we've been watching that I was like, oh, these are amazing as a kid. I'm kind of like, I'm noticing it's a little bit dated, not as good as I remember it. This one still holds up just as well, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I would give it a full yay. I think it definitely holds up, and it's still just as enjoyable as it was.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites on Cartoon Network for a reason. Like, I love this show. It's a full yay.
I'm a full yay. I think Teen Titans is kind of like a very nice, gentle way to ease yourself into the DCU. If that's kind of something you want to go down the route of. Because, like, I don't remember, 2-3 years ago, I decided to, like, binge all of Teen Titans and then, like, all of the Young Justice movies all in one go. Like, it
Young Justice was a TV show, not a movie, but, like, I mean, you were
Young
also
Justice
doing the movies,
and then the Teen Titans, the Judas Contract, Apocalypse War, all that stuff.
Right, okay, those ones, yeah. Alright, anyone have anything else to say about this?
Nope.
Good stuff.
Yeah. We might as well continue to watch things from the early 2000s that were definitely inspired by some kind of anime. They're all basically anime anyway. I liked that we got a little bit of Kung Fu stuff with Robin. We should probably do some more Kung Fu stuff next week. Does anyone want to watch Jackie Chan Adventures?
Yeah.
I thought we were going Shaolin Showdown.
Hey, save it for later. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye!
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoy this video, give us a like, and if you haven't already, check out some of our previous episodes, our daily gaming videos, or our parody series Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!